the unicorn guy of Irwin Utilities, Unicoi County. Before I go on any further, also, I want to thank very much All for Tennessee and Caleb Calhoun. Perhaps I should, later on in the show, is about the decision to drop the Vol Caravan. And allfortennessee.com, this has really been a lot of talk. I understand that I got some backlash down at a radio station in Knoxville. I know that I had some Twitter beef with them. But the thing is that any publicity talking about the competition. Anyway, they're not talking about Jim Rome. They're talking about me. And so let's find out who the big leaguer really is. But nevertheless, so I thank them for that down there. The UT decision to cancel the Vol Caravan, and let's call it for what it is. The Vol Caravan is being destroyed, at least for this year, due to the fact that they don't answer the tough questions. They're sick of asking. There's a new wrinkle in that story every day. They'd probably not like to talk about, hey, what about Guarantano? Or 2 straight losing seasons for the Tennessee Volunteers? What are the prospects now? It should scare you as a Tennessee fan that they're not talking to the fans and the media. Look, Tennessee fans are very supportive, okay? Tennessee fans are not the kind of fans that Philly fans are. Tennessee fans don't say, Vols, bunch of bums. Oh, maybe you can find one of your uncles or something that says that. But no, basically they're, wearing checkerboard overalls of the game and think it's stylish. So, when you had a Vol Caravan, tremendous support. And also, I can remember where Pat Summitt, this is actually where I talked about in the 90s in mainstream conversation so much. I mean, maybe you get some stories in the News Sentinel or something. Or I guess the Journal went out of business, 91 or 92? So maybe you get some stories there. But, considering when it was in the 90s, there wasn't any internet. And a lot of people, John City Press, I don't believe, was on the internet in the late 90s. It was coming into its own. He used to hear that. Growing up, he used to hear that. And it was about a 25-year-old story. Do you remember? Do you remember when everyone would come over and watch I Love Lucy? Do you remember? And, trying to think. I'm pretty sure that TV didn't come to the Tri-Cities until the 50s. I don't know if they had a signal or they bounced the station around from Asheville to becoming popular or something. Maybe the late 40s. I don't know. Meet the Press likes to tell us they've been on the air since 1947. Regardless, All for Tennessee, I really want to thank them because, like I was saying with Pat Summitt, before I get off the beaten track, she used to use these Vol Caravans as a way to promote her team, and you'd soak it up, and it was the best info you'd get anywhere. And she went on to win 3 straight national titles. Why are you backing away from the Vol Caravan? Why are you afraid to hear, and I said this during my commentary, that you can read on Medium.com. Why I call Caleb Calhoun one of the true journalists, if not the best journalist, covered as absurd. And a lot of the media around here does. Remember what I tell you, so many of the media types around here think of themselves as basically extensions of the public relations department. Not necessarily people that will tell you what's really going on. Like I do. I'm Marky Billson, Tri-City Sports Now. By the way, speaking of that, there's a story of the guy. Yeah, this was also the case with me with the Wheeling Intelligencer. Sure, I covered a lot of hockey, all of this. Very well-known baseball writer. I remember doing a feature on Terry Francona in 2004 before the Red Sox. During the season, the Red Sox ended their jinx. What it was like being the manager that was hired specifically that year to win the World Series, as Terry Francona was, and he did it, and ended the 86-year jinx. Yeah, I did that. Anyway, the crew finished with a time. See, what I was going to say, kind of an interesting sport now. Because, there was an appeal. Okay, it didn't have the strategy or something like that, but, rowing the scull down the river, the coxswain going, bail, bail, bail. Okay, maybe I've watched too many Bullwinkle commercials, listen, cartoons. Remember that in Bullwinkle? Yeah, they were going. Rocky and Bullwinkle were going against Boris and Natasha across the country, remember, with, with skulls and all that. You had your stroke, 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 bail, 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 stroke, 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 bail. You see, Rocky and Bullwinkle's skull didn't have quite the, it had a few leaking problems, so they had to, consistently get rid of the water as they were going anywhere there was water. I think they did the skulls in the cartoon through an open hydrant at one time. But no, let's give them credit here. Lady Vols claim a top 3 finish in the women's sprints in rowing. I enjoyed that. The crew finished with a time of, 6 minutes, 45 seconds, with Dartmouth, who was only roughly 5 seconds better than them. The regatta, it was on Lake Quinsigamond. It began Sunday morning, and all boats continued to the finals in the afternoon. Thankfully, there weren't a whole lot of bail, bail, bail. So, Lady Vols will host the Big 12 Conference Championships in Oak Ridge on May 18th to 19th. Yeah, there you go. Lady Vols claim a top 3 finish in women's sprints in rowing. I gotta give them credit for that. I always kind of liked, just the scenery and the whole thing of sport in there with rowing. So I gotta give them some credit there. Political correctness gonna muck after this.